Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review video for the Chaos Space Marines Codex. In this particular series I'm focusing in on particular legions, just to give you the rules and the breakdown for them. In this episode we will take a look at the Alpha Legion here in this video. Just before we get stuck into the Alpha Legion, check out the Outpost, link for them in the video description below for discount 40k, Age of Sigmar, other gaming systems, shipping all across the UK and much of the European Union as well, so you can check them out for discount 40k. So the Alpha Legion here. Legion traits, we'll go through everything. So you've got a trait for them, a secondary objective, a page, generous amount of warlord traits specific for them, a page of stratagems, and then relics as well. And I'm sort of looking from the angle, if I was to collect Alpha Legion, what combinations would I go for, what's the good options, and then sort of the overall impression, are they a good Legion to take or not. So Masters of Duplicity is their trait. So this is kind of like they infiltrate, as they hide in the shadows, ambush type legion. That's the theme going for these. So each time a ranged attack targets a unit with this trait, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. If the target unit contains any models of wounds characteristic of 10 or more, so like Chaos Rhino and above, the attacker must be more than 18 inches away for this benefit to apply, which is fair enough, so larger targets are easier to see. So, -1 to hit rolls, that's okay, it's going to help preserve numbers to some degree, so it's alright. Units of this trait, the second part of this, units of this trait are eligible to perform an action or declare a charge in a turn in which they fell back. And if a unit of this trait declares a charge whilst it's performing an action, the action is still failed. So you're able to fall back and then charge a fresh target, so that's a great bit of flexibility. So I would say, in some of the legions that we've seen, you get one really good trait and one that's okay-ish. This one's got two pretty good ones combined together. So they're not outstanding, but together, pretty good. So off to a solid enough start with these. Just need to remember that units, I'm sure it'll easily be remembered that you can pull back and then go and charge at some other targets. So, interesting. Yeah. So Masters of Duplicity, that one. So then if you want to go for it, you can select a unique secondary available for them, Infiltrate and Subvert. If you select this objective, Alpha Legion infantry units from your army can attempt the following action. So, Subvert. One Alpha Legion infantry unit, excluding character units, from your army can start to perform this action at the end of the movement phase if it's wholly within 6 inches of your opponent's deployment zone. So you don't have to get in their deployment zone, you just got to get within 6 inches of it, so it's a little bit more generous than having to be in their deployment zone, so that's helpful. The action is complete at the end of your next command phase, so you've got to get into that zone at the end of your movement phase and then survive the opponent's turn and then get through to the next command phase. So it's doable, but it's tricky. The opponent's got that turn to react. Provided this action is complete at the end of the next command phase, provided the unit attempting it is still wholly within 6 inches of your opponent's deployment zone, so they've survived and stay where they were. If completed, if the unit that performed this action is in range of an objective marker, roll 1d6 to see if that objective marker has been subverted. If that unit was a cultist unit, that objective marker is subverted on a 5+, otherwise the objective marker is subverted on a 3+. Enemy units can never control objective markers that have been subverted, and they can never perform actions whilst they're in range of any objective markers that have been subverted. So, yeah, okay. So each time a unit from your army completes this action, you get 3 victory points, regardless of what you've done to any objectives. You get 4 points instead if that unit completed the action wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. So if you do push in deep enough to get in their deployment zone, it's worth 4 points. So I would say the main aim would just be to perform those actions anywhere across the board. Yeah, with the control and objective markers, it seems to, a lot of the time in 9th edition games, it seems to be that when you've cleared and held an objective, it's quite rare that it's reclaimed back in games. It doesn't happen too much, unless it's like a very hotly contested, like a central objective or something. So subverting objectives just take as a little extra bonus, but I don't think it'd be too much impact in the game, but it's useful enough. But the main thing is to get these points with units performing actions. I would say flanking units of cultists to do that, just turning up inside the opponent's deployment zone just outside and just harvesting points for that, and just sort of quiet places on the battlefield you could do it. Yeah, interesting. Just want a little look here. Yeah, okay, so I'm just wondering, what would stop you from using the same unit just to keep doing it throughout the game? So you sneak into a nice quiet spot on the table and just sit there turn after turn, just subverting and just harvesting points. So it's a little bit like a line breaker type thing going on with that one. Okay, interesting. Next, Warlord traits. There's 6 to choose from here. Remember, there's the generic options as well for Chaos Space Marines, but you've got these ones here also. We're trying to think of an army that's a bit tactically flexible, or that likes to lurk and hide, so see if there's any kind of enhancements gained from any of these traits here. So I am Alfarius. After nominating this model to be your Warlord, randomly determine one additional Warlord trait for them, re-rolling duplicate results from a Warlord's table of your choice that this model has access to. So you get a bonus Warlord trait with this Warlord trait. Typical Games Workshop. If this Warlord is destroyed, this is the ability you get, you can immediately select one Alpha Legion character model from your army that does not have a Warlord trait, and select a Warlord trait that model for that model to gain. This must be a Warlord trait that no other model from your army has. It must be the one that a model can have, and it cannot be I am Alfarius. At the end of the battle, the model counts as your Warlord for all rules purposes. If any objective marker, secondary objective, or agenda rules are triggered when your Warlord is destroyed, those rules are not triggered if this new Warlord is destroyed. So you're passing on the traits to someone else. So, yeah, it's alright. Clandestine. Each time an attack is made against this Warlord, unmodified hit rolls of 1 to 3 always fail. Interesting. Irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or the model making the attack may have. I think that's shooting and close combat. Whoa. Yeah. And each time an attack is allocated to this Warlord, whilst receiving the benefits of cover, you get an additional 1 to any armor saving throws for that attack. Yeah, well that's really good. Yeah. Looking good, that one, Clandestine. That's quite powerful, making him hard to hit. Headhunter. Each time you select a target for an attack made with a ranged weapon by this Warlord, if it is a weapon that is a rapid fire or pistol, you can ignore Lookout Sir. You can reroll the attack's wound roll. At unmodified wound rolls of 6, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. So, all sounds good, but just a limited amount of shots really, because it's just a rapid fire or pistol weapon for that Warlord. It's not going to bless a unit. So, really strong stuff here, but it's very limited in its scope. Master of Diversion. After both sides have deployed in the resolve pre-battle ability step of the mission you're playing, you can select up to 3 Alpha Legion units from your army that hold within your deployment zone. Remove those units from the battlefield and set them up anywhere on the battlefield that is wholly within 9 inches of your deployment zone, more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. If the mission uses strategic reserves rules, any of those units can be placed into strategic reserves without having to spend additional CPs, regardless of how many units are already in strategic reserves. Whoa. Yeah, well, that's very useful as well. Yeah. It's wholly within deployment zone. Don't have to be in range of the leader to do that. Just select 3, take them off, redeploy, or put them in reserve. Yeah, excellent. Well, that could be very, very useful, just to get units a bit further up the table and so on. Well, very good. Cult Leader. In your command phase, you can select one friendly Alpha Legion cultist unit within 9 inches of the Warlord to the start of your next command phase. Each time model that unit makes an attack, you get +1 to hit roll. Improve the AP by 1. So if you really like the idea of cultists, you could help them out with that. Covert Control. In your command phase, you can select one for any Alpha Legion core unit within 6 inches of the Warlord. To the start of the next command phase, that unit can shoot whilst performing an action without the action failing, useful. And then that unit has the objective secured ability, and if a model already has that ability, it counts as an extra model. Okay. So yeah, some useful ones in there. It's good tactical. I think Alpha Legion's sort of very kind of tactical, cunning type Legion, as opposed to some of the other Chaos Space Marine Legions, which are more just shoot, charge, kill. As here, it's clever sort of subversion going on with these, which matches the theme nicely, and there's some pretty good Warlord traits to help you out with that. So looking for the same again with stratagems to help strengthen the theme that's going on here with these. And if you are an Alpha Legion player, let us know in the comment section if you're happy with these rules, if it's really going to enhance your army, and if you're excited about the potential of this new codex. So Conceal, there's 8 of them here. So Conceal is 3 CP or 2 CP, so expensive, and it's tricky with the limitation at the start of the game with command points. You sort of have to save them up as the turns go by. Use this stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select an Alpha Legion infantry unit from your army until the end of the phase. Each time an enemy model shoots, if that unit is not the closest eligible target or within 12 inches of that model, then until that shooting is resolved, that model cannot target that unit. If the unit has a power rating of 10 or more, the stratagem costs 3 CP, otherwise it's 2 CP. Yeah. Well, it's expensive, but it's very, very strong. It's very, very good. Just to deny shooting against an entire unit. I mean, you got to save that unit. I'm thinking of something like a unit of Obliterators, and you bring them out to shoot. They do their shooting, and on the opponent's turn they're then exposed. The opponent reacts by bringing a load of anti-tank or anti-monster stuff to shoot at them, and you just play Conceal, and you just shut down their shooting. So yeah, it's expensive, but it's really good. It's very, very good indeed, that one. Deadly Ambush, especially useful for your backline units like Havocs perhaps as well, anchoring at the back. If they're exposed, the opponent sees them to get rid of them, and then you just play Conceal on them. Nice. So strong, expensive but strong. Deadly Ambush next, 2 CP. Use your stratagem at the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. Select one enemy unit that was set up on the battlefield as reinforcements this phase until the end of your next turn. Each time an Alpha Legion model from your army makes an attack against that unit, add 1 to the hit roll. So yeah, ambushing a deep striking unit. Yeah, I was just looking at Obliterators. They're power level 5 each. So just 2 Obliterators, it's going to cost you 3 CP to do Conceal, so it's going to be expensive. Coils of Deception, 1 CP, cheaper one. Use your stratagem in your movement phase. When the Alpha Legion core unit from your army falls back, that unit is still eligible to shoot even though it fell back. So a bit of something you can add on to their built-in ability to fall back and charge. You can now fall back and shoot for a CP. It's got to be a core unit, but a lot of units are core, so it's pretty good. Forward Operatives next. Use your stratagem in the Resolve pre-battle abilities step of your mission you're playing. Select one Alpha Legion infantry unit from your army. The unit can make a normal move as if it were your movement phase, but must then move more than 9 inches away from enemy models. You can only use the stratagem once unless you're playing a Strike Force or Onslaught, in which case you can use it twice. And you can only select an infantry unit to use a stratagem once. Yeah, you can't double stack with it. Okay. Yeah, well, again, very useful and cheap to do that. It could really help particular units get up the board, cover ground quickly. Yeah. You can make a normal move. So you could move in advance, get into cover, push up the table, get onto an objective and so on. Get within striking range or potential to get in striking range because you're going to move advance, and then when it's your turn, move and charge. So you really could make some good progress up the board. Units I'm thinking that would move up well as a regular infantry, something like Possessed, which can move a lot quicker on foot, push them forwards. Renascent Infiltration, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your movement phase. When Alpha Legion infantry unit from your army is more than 6 inches away from enemy models is selected to move. If the mission you're playing uses strategic reserves, you can place that unit into strategic reserves. The unit cannot arrive from strategic reserves in the same turn it's placed into reserves. So Yeah, remove and redeploy later on. Sabotaged Armory, 1 to 3 CP. Use the stratagem in any phase when an enemy vehicle model is destroyed. If there are any Alpha Legion units from your army on the battlefield, your opponent does not roll to see if that model explodes. It does so automatically. Gah. If that model is affected by a rule that says it never explodes, ignore both that rule and this stratagem and roll to see if it explodes as normal. If the model has a wounds characteristic of 9 or less, the stratagem costs CP. If the model has a wounds characteristic of 10 to 19, it's 2 CP, and then the stratagem costs 2 CP. It costs 2 CP, otherwise it's 3. So yeah. Yep, you can auto detonate a Bane Blade. This is very nasty because there's often units crowding around vehicles. So, very much worth it in the right situation. Your opponents crowd a load of models, characters and so on around a vehicle, and you detonate that thing. So that your opponent's going to be on edge now with their vehicles. You know, stay away from the vehicles, they could be sabotaged. I mean, very, very great. Cool thing. Excellent. Great stratagem. Yeah, classic Alpha Legion. I think that really reflects the way they operate. So, good one. Scrambled Coordinates. Use this stratagem to start the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. Select up to 2 Alpha Legion core units from your army that are on the battlefield. To the end of the phase, enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches of any of those selected units. You're just trying to muck up the opponent's plans. Play this, and then, I don't know, my Deep Strike and Blood Angels are about to arrive. Play Scrambled Coordinates and just ruin their whole attempt to try to Deep Strike and get short range charges done. Yeah. Right, I've got an answer for everything here. Veiled Agenda. Use your strategy after selecting secondary objectives or agendas. If your army contains any of the Alpha Legion keyword, do not reveal one of those selections to your opponent. The first time you score victory points or experience points at a secondary objective or agenda, reveal it to your opponent. Note this: you must still make a record of your selection, and we recommend writing down and concealing it until revealed. You're going to use the stratagem once. So Veiled Agenda for Crusade type stuff going on there. So next is the Relics here. And again, I wonder if there's any relics that are going to help out with subversion and the theme we've got going at the moment. But I have to say, the theme that's been developed here is being reinforced at every stage with these, and it's really building up a nice theme here with Alpha Legion. Blade of the Hydra. So you're swapping it out for a chain sword. You get +1 strength, AP -2, 1 damage. Each time the bearer fights, it makes D3 + 3 additional attacks with this weapon. So you get tons of attacks. If there's 6 or more enemy models within 3 inches of the bearer, it just gets a straight 6 additional attacks. So, yeah, it's alright. It's just low caliber really, but tons of attacks available. Drake's Scale Plate. Alpha Legion model. The bearer has a save characteristic of 2+, and each time attack is made against the bearer, unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or model making attack may have. It's only for infantry though, so you couldn't stick it on a Lord Discordant. But it's not bad. Next is Hydra's Whale. Once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem excluding command reroll, the bearer can use this relic. If it does so until the end of the battle, the CP cost your opponent must pay is increased by 1. Okay, so again, try and muck up the opponent's plans. Viper's Spite. Alpha Legion model with a pistol. This relic replaces the bolt pistol and has the following ability of profile. So it's range 18, pistol 6, strength 4 -3, but only 1 damage on that one. Hydra's Teeth, Alpha Legion model with a bolt weapon only. When you give a model this relic, select one bolt weapon the bearer is equipped with. The weapon is considered to be a relic for all rules purposes. Each time the bearer is selected to shoot, you can choose that weapon to have a Hydra's Teeth bolt. If you do, the bearer can make only 1 attack with the weapon. It also hits the target. You add 2 to the strength and damage characteristics of the attack, and improve the arm penetration characteristic of that attack by 2, and ignores infant saves as well. So you're basically looking at Hydra's Teeth bolt. Generally it's going to be strength 6, AP -2 and 3 damage. Yeah, ignoring invuns. Hydra's Teeth. It's nice. It's pretty good. Icon of the Hydra Cult. This relic can be given to a cultist model Icon of the Hydra cult, so whilst friendly Alpha Legion's cult is within 6 inches of the bearer, each time a ranged attack targets that unit, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, the target is treated as having the benefits of dense covers -1 to hit rolls. So yes, okay. Then Mind Veil, Alpha Legion infantry model. Each time the bearer makes a normal move, advances or falls back to the end of the phase, add 1d6 to the bearer's move characteristic. Each time the bearer makes a normal move, advances, falls back or makes a charge move till the move is finished. It can move horizontally through models and terrain features. It cannot finish a move on top of another model or its base. Yeah. Yeah, strange one, that one, but useful enough. Again, it's limited to an infantry model. So that is it. Next one will be the Emperor's Children. But that's the review for the Alpha Legion. Nice theme that's been developed here, and I think it's a good move from Games Workshop, because the theme of the Chaos Legions, they are so different from each other, and so it's good that Games Workshop are giving a good representation of each. And really, with the stacks of traits, stratagems and relics, it really is enhancing those themes. It's not just like the odd stratagem, the odd trait here and there, you're sort of stuck with that, and there's very big limitations on diversity. But here, you really are able to take a theme and build upon it quite strongly. In fact, here with a good selection of stratagems, some very nicely themed traits and relics, and then also the way you try and win the game with secondaries, you can go for that theme, and the whole way the army operates with the trait, it's helping out as well. So all looking good enough for Alpha Legion. Whether they're the strongest, I seem to lean towards just the hardest hitting, sort of straightforward killy type options. Black Legion, Word Bearers, but Alpha Legion strong enough in their own style, I think is the verdict with them. Leave your own comments and your verdicts on these. Keep a lookout for more videos in this series. I plan to do all of the legions, so you can check out the different ones that are available. Do check out the link below for the Outpost. It's discount 40k available just to help keep the cost of the hobby down. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.